The world watches with bated breath. Global tensions are rising. Every day, news outlets report on the growing unease between nations. Diplomatic relations are strained, and the threat of conflict looms large. The global community is on edge, aware that a single misstep could lead to catastrophic consequences. Regional conflicts simmer, threatening to boil over. In various parts of the world, border disputes and territorial claims are becoming increasingly contentious. Nations are flexing their military muscles, engaging in shows of strength that only serve to heighten tensions. These regional disputes, if left unchecked, have the potential to ignite a much larger conflagration. The specter of a Third World War, once a distant nightmare, now looms closer than ever. The memories of the first two world wars are still fresh in the collective consciousness, and the idea of a third such conflict is almost too horrifying to contemplate. Yet, the signs are there, and the possibility cannot be ignored. Understanding the intricacies of these conflicts is not just an academic exercise, it is crucial for our collective future. Scholars and analysts pore over data, trying to predict the next flashpoint. They study historical patterns, economic trends, and political maneuvers, all in an effort to foresee and perhaps prevent the next global catastrophe. The choices made by world leaders today will determine whether the 21st century is remembered for peace or for unprecedented devastation. Every diplomatic decision, every treaty signed or broken, every military action taken has the potential to either steer us towards peace or plunge us into chaos. The stakes have never been higher. The world has seen 2 world wars. Each was devastating in its own right, leaving scars that have yet to fully heal. The First World War, with its trench warfare and chemical weapons, introduced the world to the horrors of modern combat. The Second World War, with its unprecedented scale and the introduction of nuclear weapons, brought destruction on a level never before seen. Each conflict reshaped the geopolitical landscape, leaving millions dead and economies shattered. The aftermath of these wars saw the rise and fall of empires, the redrawing of borders, and the creation of new nations. The world order was irrevocably changed, and the lessons learned from these conflicts continue to influence global politics to this day. The devastation wrought by these conflicts serves as a stark reminder of what is at stake. The human cost, the economic toll, the environmental damage, all are consequences of war that we must strive to avoid. The scars of global warfare are deep and long-lasting, affecting generations long after the last shot is fired. The potential for a third world war, one fought with modern weaponry and potentially involving nuclear arsenals, is a terrifying prospect. The destructive power of today's weapons far surpasses anything seen in the past. A single nuclear bomb can obliterate a city, and the fallout can affect the entire planet. The thought of such weapons being used in a global conflict is almost too terrible to imagine. However, the path to global conflict is rarely straightforward. It is a complex web of alliances, rivalries, and historical grievances. Economic pressures, political ideologies, and cultural differences all play a role in shaping the actions of nations. Understanding these factors is key to preventing the next great war. It is often paved with miscalculations, misunderstandings, and the escalation of smaller, regional disputes. A minor incident can quickly spiral out of control, drawing in allies and adversaries alike. The Cuban Missile Crisis, for example, brought the world to the brink of nuclear war over a relatively small issue. It is a sobering reminder of how quickly things can escalate. To understand the potential for World War III, we must examine the tinderboxes that dot the globe, the actors involved, and the motivations that drive them. From the South China Sea to the Middle East, from Eastern Europe to the Korean Peninsula, there are numerous hotspots where conflict could erupt. Each of these regions has its own unique set of circumstances and players, and each requires careful analysis to understand the potential for escalation. Diplomatic efforts and peace negotiations are crucial in these volatile regions. International organizations, such as the United Nations, work tirelessly to mediate disputes and foster dialogue between conflicting parties. The role of diplomacy cannot be overstated. It is often the last line of defense against the outbreak of war. Economic measures, such as sanctions and trade agreements, also play a significant role in maintaining global peace. By leveraging economic power, nations can influence the behavior of others without resorting to military action. However, these measures must be used judiciously, as they can also exacerbate tensions, if not carefully managed. The role of technology in modern warfare cannot be ignored. Cyber threats and information warfare are new frontiers in global conflict. Nations are increasingly using these tools to gain an advantage, whether by disrupting critical infrastructure, stealing sensitive information, or spreading propaganda. The digital battlefield is just as important as the physical one, and it requires constant vigilance. Public awareness and the role of media in shaping perceptions of conflict are also crucial. The way conflicts are reported and portrayed can influence public opinion and, in turn, the actions of governments. Responsible journalism and informed citizens are essential in preventing the spread of misinformation and fostering a culture of peace. Education is another vital component in the effort to prevent global conflict. Teaching history to future generations helps them understand the consequences of war and the importance of diplomacy. By learning from the past, we can hope to build a more peaceful future. Ultimately, global cooperation is essential in the fight against the threat of war. Nations must work together, setting aside their differences to address common challenges. A united front is our best defense against the specter of World War III. While the threat of global conflict is real, there is also hope. The power of collective action, the resilience of the human spirit, and the lessons of history all give us the tools we need to build a more peaceful world. It is up to us to use them wisely. As we stand on the brink, let us remember that the future is not set in stone. Through understanding, cooperation, and a commitment to peace, we can ensure that the ghost of World War III remains just that, a ghost, never to become a reality.